Let's take a trip back in time to 1958 and a little movie called The Horror of Dracula. Directed by Terence Fisher, known for Hammer's Frankenstein and other films from Hammer. He basically worked exclusively with them. And written by Jimmy Sangster, also known for his work with Hammer Studios. And this is based on the Bram Stoker novel, of course. Summary: Jonathan Harker begets the ire of Count Dracula after he accepts a job at the vampire's castle under false pretenses. Jason, any additional details?
Tagline: Don't dare see it alone. Distributed by Universal International. And this does have some Blu-ray releases. UK, I think, but I didn't get the company or the year. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know.
Vamper should have done better.
I'm not really familiar with Dracula a whole bunch. Are all the movies about a librarian? Is he a librarian?
No.
That's a weird job for rich people. And I guess in the 1800s, rich people would hire librarians to come organize their books. That's like hiring someone to come organize your DVDs.
No, you watched the Francis Ford Coppola one, right?
Right.
That one's a lot like the book. He's
Loosely based on Bram Stoker.
Yeah, the Francis Ford Coppola one, and in the book, Jonathan Harker, he's works for like real estate, helping Dracula.
Oh, okay.
A lawyer. He's a lawyer.
That makes more
He's
sense.
helping Dracula buy up land in England.
Because I'm thinking like back in the 1800s, there was not that much shit to do. So if you had a bunch of books, you probably read them or organized them or read them or killed people. I mean, there's not a lot for a vampire old-timey dude to do. He's in a castle by himself. I thought that Christopher Lee is a way better Dracula than Bela Lugosi. I don't know if it's... I think it's just the intensity. And I think that comes from... I read that Christopher Lee was genuinely horribly uncomfortable every time he had to wear those contact lenses. In fact, he couldn't see anything, and he fell into a grave at one point on top of an actress because of this. So I think that leads to the intensity. He's probably literally in horrible pain.
I like him too. He's my favorite Dracula.
Yeah, and I thought Peter Cushing's Van Helsing looks so much like the character that plays Jonathan Harker that whenever he finds his body in the catacombs, I thought it was some sort of Inception shit. I'm like, is he finding himself? Because they look so similar. They're dressed similar.
Anne watched this with me. I think she commented the same thing.
I said, did he just find himself? That's fucked up. I had fun watching this old ass fucking movie. I don't think I've
this old ass fucking movie.
It feels old watching it. I don't think I've watched that many Hammer movies, if I've watched any.
I like the Hammer movies.
I've always heard about them. Vampires, they can be done well. This is a really well done vampire. Of course, you can really fuck it up too. I think it's funny that at the end he just puts two items together and forms a cross, because that kind of makes, vampires are pretty easy to defeat. Literally anything that you have, you can just put it together. Donezo. You got it all the time.
Got two fingers.
All the time.
Blam.
Yeah, but for a genre of horror that I'm not really big on, because these old movies are, they're good. They're good.
They're old.
They're good to a certain extent, but I can't give it that high of a score because of how old it is. I feel, just my personal feelings, but it was fun.
I can't give anything before 1970 a high score because it's before 1970.
I'm just the time period. So I gave it a 4 out of 10. It was fun to watch it in the Halloween season. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's just, I feel like, the best Dracula. So,
yeah, watch Hammer. That's how you can sum that up. Hammer films. You're gonna get great sets. You're gonna get atmosphere. They always use beautiful women. It feels like a classy, elegant horror film. This is Christopher Lee's first role as Dracula. I think he's very effective. I guess intensity is a good word to use. That he just kind of radiates that. He's like he's not the shape shifting Dracula. Like he's gonna grab you and throw you through a wall and bite your skull, something like that. Not skull, your neck. Peter Cushing's amazing as always. I think this still holds up today. So how effective of a film it was in what, 58? Mm-hmm. The vampires turn into dust. I love that. I'm a sucker for Hammer, so this is one of my favorites. I gave it a 9.
I am right there with Jason. I love the old Hammers. The reason this one came up, it was originally I put it as a choice for hoping people would pick it on the poll, and when no one did, not one vote for it. I was like, "Fuck you, we're reviewing it anyways."
A lot of people's not into the old stuff. Like I get why Frank don't like it, but
I had been talking to Rab, and he's got a project coming up that's kind of like Hammer themed, bunch of writing that's Hammer themed, and it had been a while since I got this, or since I watched this one. I got this for Christmas one year from Carmen's mom and dad, and I was excited because, I mean, they just grabbed it out of like a $1 bin. They were like, he likes horror movies, sure, we'll grab this. And I was looking through, and there are ones that I like in there and going through, and then that one popped up. I was like, shit, yeah. But yeah, I love the old Hammers. I like the old Universal 2s. I like the old monster movies. I always did. The Hammer ones, the old Universal ones with like Bela and Lon Chaney Jr. I still like watching them, but they're not. They almost don't feel like horror to me. The Hammer movies feel like a horror movie. Hammer is where I feel like the Universal monsters got turned into actual horror movies. Everything, the Gothic sets are always fantastic. Everything is. The Universals are fun. I mean, Dova, she's 2.5, 3. She watches The Wolfman when we watch it out here. No, they don't care about that, but and
yeah, we don't care about what your daughter watches, Jared.
They don't give a fuck about that. I guess she watched Sharknado with us too, so, which is one of her favorite games to play now. She builds up a castle out of blocks and then screams that she's a tornado shark and knocks it over. But anyways, yeah, the old Hammers, I think, is where, and the blood. Like, this was around the time, when color is starting to get popular, and the bright, fucking, vibrant red blood, and I love the aesthetic of it. Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, I know you guys brought them up, so obviously they're fantastic. So it's great actors, and I love the whole aesthetic and the way it all feels. So I like all the Hammer movies. So yeah, I give it a 9.
There you go.